everyone. Based on today's subject of India's mounting waste and garbage crisis, Times of India published a big news article on 24 June, the Tuesday, in which it elaborated on the burgeoning problem of these garbage mountains, which happens to be our today's video subject, and I'll explain you how the problem can be solved. So let's move ahead. The base of the problem behind today's video subject: across the length and breadth of the country we have these big gigantic garbage mountains where the cities, the waste which is collected from households and industries is dumped permanently, and these are not landfills, these are dump sites. Okay, so mixed garbage is collected from across the city and then dumped. Some portion of the garbage is taken up by the recycling industry, okay, but the bulk of the remaining organic and the inorganic waste is all dumped at these dump sites. These dump sites can usually be found at the outskirts of your city sphere, and the sizes can be as big as like Gazipur or Bandwadi. Gazipur is in New Delhi, Bandwadi is in nearby to Gurgaon, and you'll find various names for them across the country. Now that's the core of our problem. Past around 2 decades or more, in past 1 decade, everyone is aware that we have these garbage mountains and people are sick and tired of them. I'll just highlight very few important points. I'm not going to go too deep because I want to keep the length of the video short. Few important points which will clear you what exactly the problem is, because the problem has become now, it's the crisis. It's a very big crisis which we are facing. It's not a small problem which can be avoided. 24 crore tons of legacy waste is spread across the country. This legacy waste means the garbage which has been dumped and hasn't been processed since many years and decades, and it has been piling. New garbage coming in, old garbage going down, again new garbage being dumped there, and hence so forth, it becomes a mountain. The total quantum of this particular garbage is 24 crore tons, which is called legacy waste, okay, which has been there as a legacy since many decades and hasn't been treated. So this is one statistic which has been stated in this news article. I'll share the link of the news article in the description so you can go and read and make yourself aware. So this is one prominent reason. The other prominent point which you have to understand is across the country there are 2400 dump sites. 2400 dump sites. 2400 dump sites. These are garbage mountains or kachra mountains of India, where daily waste, mixed waste from our houses, from our industries and factories and different other places are collected and dumped. These are not segregated, these are mixed waste. Now, try to imagine in your mind these 2 points, that we have 24 crore tons of mixed waste, legacy waste, and 2400 dump sites across the country. The ones which are there in Delhi, Gurgaon, likewise there are 2400 across the country. So you can imagine the huge crisis which we have in front of us. The another main reason, why do we have this particular problem? I've made one particular video on this particular subject of waste management. I'll share the link in the description. Please go through it. In brief, one major solution to this problem is waste segregation at source, meaning the organic waste, inorganic waste, plastic, things like sanitary pads, diapers, they all have to be segregated at your premises, at your home. Likewise, at the factory and industries, they also have to segregate the waste and then hand it over to the agencies working in your municipal corporation. And then they will ensure that the waste is not mixed, and then it is sent to the respective dump site or landfill. That's the norm. That norm has been stated in Solid Waste Management 2016 rule. Fine. So that's a one big solution which each of one of us has to be aware of. I'll share that video and you can go through the details. Let's focus on this particular issue. If these, if this legacy waste is not treated, if these 2400 dump sites still exist, imagine the amount of pollution, air pollution and underground pollution which we are going to have. Underground pollution happens in a way, see these big garbage mountains, when years of garbage piles up, on one another. You have the monsoons, the rainy season and different seasons, winter and summers. So there is particular liquid which emerges from these dump sites which is called leachate. In the news article you will find this term. This leachate is a very dirty, unhealthy chemical, toxic chemical. Okay, this chemical in form of toxic water drips out from the garbage mountain, and then it seep inside the underground water surface, thereby impacting the underground water, which we all use for different purposes. The bigger the dump site, the bigger will be the impact area of this leachate. Usually common citizens aren't aware about these technical terms. That's where these news articles comes in handy. Basically, it's a toxic liquid. If it is not treated and it is not stopped, it is going to create havoc with the underground water system. It's going to make it cancerous. Studies are there, scientists have done it, government is aware of, but still action hasn't been taken place. Air pollution is the another problem which we are going to face out of these dump sites, because these big dump sites continuously, methane gas emerges from them continuously. Methane gas is a greenhouse gas which impact the ozone and the atmosphere and the environment. A lot of these dump sites also have, summer fires. During intense heat, they catch fire, okay, and then air pollution is there. In totality, the entire nation has to understand it's not just an urban problem, it is both urban and a rural problem. Rural also facing this sort of a issue. In cities it is bigger, and it is becoming bigger even in the rural area. As a country, we need to understand that if we are not going to understand this problem in detail and take a serious note and stop playing politics over it, this problem will never get solved. Never ever. Mark my words. I don't want to, elaborate too much on the problem. You can understand that it's a big filth. It's 24 crore tons of legacy waste which is lying across the country, across the length and breadth. Imagine how much a country is actually dirty. Barring few cities like Indore or somewhere in Chennai or Surat, the Swachh Bharat Sarvekshan rankings happen and you have different cities, but in practically only few cities across the nation are having real good waste management practices. Remaining, they don't have. The solution to the problem is Solid Waste Management 2016 rules. The government of India at that time formulated these rules and wanted to execute them across the length and breadth of the country. They tried their best to do it, but somewhere down the line they couldn't succeed. Now who's to be blamed? The government, the municipal corporations, state government, or the society at large? If you ask me, I will somewhere wholeheartedly blame the society at large. We, the society, we, the citizens, are responsible. Why? Because see, since independence, and if we come around say till 2000, waste was never a topic of discussion in our drawing rooms. It was not a priority for us. So what happened is, the resultant is these garbage mountains which we have today. The entire waste was mismanaged. The entire set of plastics was not managed. Today plastic, this legacy waste, the percentage of plastic is very high. So what we are supposed to do? When government said to us that source segregation is the only solution to the problem, and it conveyed the message to the citizens that start segregating the waste at source, and it also instructed various state governments to ensure their municipal corporations in respective districts and cities, they ensure that the public is segregating the waste, and the agency or the corporation ensures that they are processed in a segregated manner. That is, organic waste is treated separately to make compost, inorganic waste is it's treated separately, sanitary waste is treated separately, recyclable material like metals and hard plastics are treated separately. And then these dump sites supposed to be turned into landfills, scientific landfills, which are different from dump sites. And in India, we don't have scientific landfills. Okay. So here the participation of the citizen and the municipal corporation is of immense importance. And we can even include state government. See, central government has, they made the policy. Now the policy has to be executed under the federal structure by the state governments. Now if state governments do politics with the policy, the execution will fail. And this is one big reason why do we have this huge crisis in front of us. And you don't find common citizens talking about it apart from time of elections. So my judgment is that there are two parties which are hugely responsible for it: state government and the society. When state governments, they start to become stricter with the citizens, that they have to comply with the policies of solid waste management 2016. What I have observed across the country, that society is very apprehensive. We don't want to separate these 4-5 different type of garbage, waste, then hand it over to the agency, keep in a different bag, give it different, make it into compost. Society at large, the urban population is not interested to do all this. It's easy for them to collect all the garbage in one go and dump it and give it in a form of mixed waste to the agency who comes for the collection daily in the morning, and their task is finished. Their shit is out of their house and they are least bothered. If it is getting dumped somewhere outside the city limits, they are not bothered. Frankly, they are not bothered. And I'm being very blunt, and I'm blaming the society. Now state government has the power to execute the central government order, and even they can formulate their own laws, but they don't do it. Why? Because in India continuously we have elections, some state elections, municipal elections, the General Assembly, the parliamentary elections. Somewhere or the other elections keep happening. In order to keep the citizens happy, the society happy, they don't want to irritate them. Okay, so they ensure, okay, you don't want to segregate it, fine, we're not going to force you, we're not going to be stricter with you. We'll take the mixed waste from you and we'll dump it. We'll take some forest land, convert into a dump site, we'll make it into a garbage mountain, and that's it. Let the pollution happen. Why? Because the public is supporting it. The public is not realizing that it is a wrong thing, and government is just fooling around with us. So in a summary, the problem remains intact and we are nowhere. I don't have any words to explain. It's a chaos. So the only solution to the problem is that the state government and the state population, they both have to work in tandem, and then the problem will get solved. Every household in the city has to segregate their waste in the country if we want to 100% solve the waste management crisis in this country. If you're not going to do this, these dump sites, 2400 dump sites and 24 crore tons of legacy waste will never ever be treated. It will always remain there. If we continue to give mixed waste, generate mixed waste, this crisis will never ever solve in our lifetime in next 100 or 500 years. It will forever become a sort of a cancer, untreated cancer. Video has already become a long 15 minutes. I don't want to overstretch it. There may be a lot of questions. This is a boring subject, but let's see how many people have interest in it. Based on it, I will explain the problem further in upcoming videos. Try to give it a thought, people who have watched till the end, and let's see if I can bring about any change in the country. Thanks for listening to me. Goodbye.